Hello everyone and welcome to Self Esteem in a Selfie World. Today I'm here with Sonia Samtani. She's a two-time TEDx speaker, Hong Kong's leading hypnotherapy trainer, public speaking trainer, she's helped me as well, corporate trainer on mental wellness. And I'm so excited to chat with her today, especially about my book Self Esteem in a Selfie World. And she's an amazing personality who's helped a lot of people. So I'd like to start straight away and jump in and ask her about her views on self-esteem in our current environment, in our hyper-competitive world, especially with social media related.
Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction, and it's an honor to be a part of your book. So self-esteem especially in today's environment in social media, well, self-esteem to me is about self-acceptance first off. So the more you accept yourself, the higher your self-esteem. Mm-hmm. It's a tall order. It's not always easy because we tend to judge ourselves. And self-acceptance is not only accepting the parts you like, right? That's easy. Yeah. It's accepting the parts that we don't like and rising beyond the judgment of that. Mm-hmm. And social media now makes those parts even more apparent, even more visible. We can see ourselves in comparison to other people, mm-hmm. which can ignite even more judgment. So that gives us choice. What are we going to do about that?
Yeah. So it's like about awareness, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So when you speak about self-esteem and being, and accepting oneself, isn't it very difficult? Because in our daily life, whether it's in professional and relationships, in personal achievement goals, we are always taking a hit because we constantly compare ourselves with others. So our self-esteem is constantly being, targeted in a way, and we tend to feel crushed. We tend to feel we are not good enough. How do you think people can deal with such issues?
Firstly, it's nice for people to acknowledge that every single human being feels not good enough. Yeah, it is such a big part of life, and all of us, myself included, we felt not good enough at some point. Mm-hmm. Realizing that that is an impact of our own judgment will be step one. And finally, the ultimate answer is to get in touch with that part of us that is enough. Because even good itself is a judgment. Right? Because good exists if bad exists.
Correct.
So it's ultimately understanding that we are enough. Mm-hmm. So as you were saying that now we have more triggers. Correct. Right? With social media, etc. There are even more triggers. So those triggers can have us compare ourselves to other people, mm-hmm. which then makes us understand that perhaps let's be even more aware. Mm-hmm. Let's become more aware that the ultimate answer is for us to understand ourselves, understand that we are enough, get that this is triggering us, mm-hmm. understand that all of us have felt that, and then adopt some practices, some daily rituals, some practices where we can get in touch with our judgment. We can accept the parts of us that we have judged before. Mm-hmm. One of the daily rituals that I encourage people to do is a daily review every night before going to bed. If you can review your entire day and see where have I been in judgment and what emotions am I still holding on to, and breathe it out before going to sleep, that means you are completing the experience of it.
But often people find it difficult to address those difficult emotions, right? So how would one actually deal with it on a daily basis as a habit? Like in their day-to-day moments when they tend to want to react, they tend to feel that I'm not able to deal with a situation where a boss is saying mean things to me, or he's bypassing me and I'm not getting a promotion. How does one deal with situations like that?
Again, become aware. Because if you become aware that I'm feeling angry, now you're not just feeling angry, you're also aware that you're angry. Mm-hmm. So reactions are when we are not fully present, we just allow it to take over us, and it's almost like it hijacks us. And saying to yourself, don't feel it, is also unhealthy.
That's
so
true.
If I'm angry and I say to myself, don't feel angry, what will happen?
You'll still feel angry.
Exactly. Then you might feel guilty on top. So it becomes a little package. Mm-hmm. Then you'll feel something else and something else. Yeah. So if you're feeling something, be aware that you are feeling it and allow yourself to feel it fully. I know that this is different from the way that we've been conditioned and taught, because sometimes we've been conditioned that don't feel sad in front of other people, don't feel angry, boys need to be like this, girls need to be like this.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is basically deconditioning that. And that doesn't mean that if you're angry, lash out at somebody. That's not what we're saying. We're saying feel it.
Feel it and no judgment.
Exactly. And by feeling it, it's just allowing it in the body. That doesn't mean lashing outwards. That means acknowledge that I'm feeling it, allow it in, and allow the body to process it.
So release it.
Yeah,
Also.
breath
Let it
work
go.
is
Yeah.
so powerful.
Okay.
You know, the entire yogic philosophy is based on breath. And breath really helps us to locate and allow it to move through.
That's very helpful. But how would you guide a child who's probably experiencing some issues in school and with friends? How would you, because some children are more sensitive, their self-esteem would take a hit easier than other children. Or how would you guide, like say the parents, how would they talk to such children? You don't really want to blanket praise a child because that's not encouraging the right development.
Yeah.
So how would you guide parents or children to develop in a healthy self-esteem?
So expression. It's actually about expression, because if a child is feeling something and there's rules around the child that I shouldn't feel, I shouldn't say what I'm feeling, then the child is going to feel and then adopt some sort of a coping mechanism. That is what leads to unhealthiness and dysfunctionality. So the coping mechanisms can be the child then decides to ignore and become the pleaser. I'll be the good boy, good girl, and I will do everything to prove, but inside I'm still feeling not good enough. No amount of proving is enough. Or they rebel against it, or they hide or eat their emotions or go into addictions. So if they are encouraged, at least at home, to express, and expressing is okay, and the parents allow that expression. So when your child is expressing, if you're out to fix it and say, oh, this is the solution, or don't feel like this, or feel like this, then that expression is not complete, because that expression is judged. Even
That's
if it's
true.
not an obvious judgment, it's still judged. So number one is allow your child to acknowledge and feel safe to express. If they're safe to express at home, it makes such a difference to their self-esteem actually.
That's so true, that's so true. But for now, in this day and age where everything is about selfies and social media and appearances, what about body image issues? I mean, a lot of teens experience that. They're so sensitive, right? So then they experience body image issues, and then their self-esteem also is affected and crushed.
Yes.
How do you feel that we could guide young teenagers in that area?
So thankfully with social media, you know, even things like people are getting real about their bodies, they're coming out. So previously a lot of social media and other types of media were showing only slim, perfect bodies.
Yes.
Now
yes.
it's become a law in some places to write if the pictures are being photoshopped.
Uh-huh.
So social media is even showing us that real bodies look different. So show your child real bodies. Allow them to see the reality of it. And then acknowledge if they are feeling that their bodies are not good enough, because again, if we say no, don't feel like that, it doesn't help.
Yes.
Acknowledge it, understand the comparison that they're doing, so they're not secretly comparing, because you know, eating disorders and things come from one decision, a moment of decision where you decide, that's it, I'm at a war with food. Or that's it, I'm not going to do it. And why am I doing it that way? Because I'm judging that my body is not okay the way it is. I'm judging it. And even if you become slim, you're not going to become happy, because the fuel, the drive is from that void. Yeah, and everything that comes from a void is going to reinforce that void.
That's true. That's
So yeah, show them what is there, what is real, encourage them to express themselves, and ultimately it is, of course, accepting the way they are. And even if they would like to become, say, slimmer or healthier, they can do that from moving towards it with inspiration rather than moving against with pain.
Yeah.
Right?
So there is a new way of thinking now, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you think differently, you can deal with your feelings differently and also behave differently.
Yes.
So in this new time where technology has kind of, we have to live with technology, we have to live with social media. So isn't it that would you agree with me that it's time to reboot, reflect, revive on the way we feel and think about ourselves so that we can actually become more aware and then accept the way we are, as we are, and we are perfect people living, imperfect lives, but that's what one of the, psychologists shared that.
Yeah.
So we need to address these issues, and you're doing wonderful work here in helping a lot of people face their own, personal issues and weaknesses and develop strength. I guess as everybody needs to do that to develop themselves and understand that self-esteem comes actually, like you said, from our acceptance of ourselves. So thank you, Sonia. It was really great talking to you, and I hope you enjoy reading my book.
Thank you so much. I agree with all three of your words. Reboot, reflect, revive. And I wish that for the younger generation and for everybody. It has been a pleasure speaking to you. And thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you.